I'm Emily Slangloff. Glad to be talking about this important topic. YouTube videos to help, not for any other reason. I cannot think of a better way to be helping than by calling attention to parenting. Parenting is the most important job. If anybody doesn't agree with that, I'd like to hear from you. I've asked many people, and in big groups, small groups, individually, nobody has ever not agreed. The world can be no better than the people in it, and how else are we going to do what we can to help people be better? And what do we want overall? I'm calling this today Peace Through Parenting. We have more peace. Is there anything else we want more than peacefulness? It means caring about each other instead of being mean to each other. YouTube video. It's called Parenting 1, 2, 3. My second one was Don't Let the Baby Cry. Third one was called, I haven't brought it out yet, the third one, but it's The Harms of Punishment. And then I did one for a contest I was asked to do, and I called that one Hug Not Hit. This one is hugely comprehensive. Peacefulness through parenting. Peace through parenting. Two, three. I guess I should tell you about me in case you haven't listened before. My name's Emily Slangloff, and why in the world am I doing this? Not just because I haven't got anything else to do. I'm doing it because I cannot think of a better way to help than by talking about parenting in a helpful way. So many people think parenting is complicated, a problem, on and on, unpleasant words. Why have a child if you think all those things? I'm going to help. I'm going to help. That's my goal. Well, why did I get into it? Maybe it would have happened anyway, but maybe I got into it because after I was married, I got pregnant and I had a miscarriage, and then I ended up having 3 miscarriages. The third one was traumatic, and the doctor said, wait a year before getting pregnant again, give your body time to recover. During that time, I guess was what we would say was the start of my studying parenting. I couldn't help seeing parent and child everywhere I looked. It seemed I'd see a parent with a little newborn baby, or with a toddler, or with a teenager, and I could tell so much. I learned so much so fast. I learned that the child treats the parent back the way the parent has treated the child. We can look at a parent and child together and pretty much tell pretty easily whether that parent has been a kind parent or not. I can give you tons of examples of just things I've seen. Now, of course, I've read and learned a lot since then, but it's a fact. What the parent does in the beginning of the child's life, those formative years, makes a difference forever, not only in that one child, but in all the people that child ever touches. The job of parenting is clearly the most important job. Talk about that for 2 seconds, maybe more than 2 seconds right here. Some parents think it's all just genes and it doesn't matter. just let the child be. I'll take the child to somebody, I don't know who that person is. Or there are different situations. Some parents take the child to a very kind person that they know, like their mother or something. And the different ways, but for a parent to think that it doesn't matter what happens with that little newborn and that toddler is incorrect. It matters hugely. And different place if all parents realized their importance, particularly in the formative years, and gave time and loving care to that little newborn baby and toddler as that little one is learning about life. Come across full-time mothers recently, and they have told me that they're full-time mothers. It is said, I've said this on another video I think, but it is said almost as if there are angels floating around. The mother knows. Any mother now who, in the midst of this feminist movement, when women are realizing they can have any paying job they want, if they're willing to work, to devote their time and effort to that. Women are not considered, they have to do nothing but stay home and cook or take care of the child or whatever we want to think. Women can do whatever they want pretty much anyway. That's what's going on now in the world. And at the same time, lots and lots of mothers are realizing that being a full-time mother is the best way to help make this a better place. It's not a selfish thing at all. It will be helping that mother's child, which is a thrill to the child and to the mother as the child grows. It's also helping everybody else. One person can change the world. We know that, right? One person can be extremely kind and helpful. We can name people we know who have been outstanding in helping. We can name people who have been outstanding in a different way. I'll just blurt it out right here. Mass murderers. Why are some people mass murderers? Oh, sometimes it's the building. The building caused the mass murders. A building does not cause mass murders, no. Mass murders are caused by unhappiness. A mass murderer is not a happy person. Wow, some little 6-year-olds bullies in first grade trying to hurt another little 6-year-old by punching him in the shoulders or saying nobody likes you or you're not smart, or physically or emotionally trying to hurt somebody else. That little 6-year-old is not happy. People have not come into the world happy or unhappy. Every child comes into the world ready to become what that child is influenced to become. And so, if a mother chooses to add another person to this world, the mother is also choosing whether that person will help or hurt. Whole country, probably. That might be a slight exaggeration, but it may not be. One person can change everything. A lot, but maybe everything, actually. It's one person can do a lot of harm or of good. So, emphasizing my point number one, realize the importance of the job of parenting. If a parent wants to truly help, if a parent doesn't care, then just have a child and let the child do whatever and pay no attention to the child, or maybe in some cases pay too much attention to the child. Hover. We don't want that either. I can go into more detail of explicits here, but realize, I hope I'll have to tell you, I don't want to leave that point not clear. If a parent truly wants to help the child, the parent will be loving, will be kind all the time, not mean ever. There's no reason for a parent to ever hit a child. I called the video I did, the YouTube video for this contest thing, I called it hug, not hit. I'd say anytime a parent, and I don't know why a parent would ever think of hitting, it never occurred to me, it was the last thing on my mind, but if a parent thinks, oh gosh, that child didn't do this or did do that, that's wrong, or I don't like it, or something, thinks of hitting, no, instead hug the child and say, oh gosh, I haven't taught you, oh my gosh, and hug the child and talk and explain and let the child talk too. Maybe the child will say, I didn't mean to do it, or oh, I didn't understand, or oh, thank you for explaining. No telling. But even from the very, very beginning of life, the parent explain in real words, yes, not by hitting, not by sending the child away from the parent, saying, go to your room, time out. The way to teach the child with kindness is to have time in. If the child has done something that the parent believes is wrong in life, I mean, a number of things, list, but, or that is something the parent just doesn't like and wants to tell the child, then the parent should have it time in, talk, listen, let the child talk too, work together. When I say listen to the child, let the child talk, definitely, that's a huge part of parenting. Some parents, and I don't blame parents, some people who teach parenting still are not quite learning what is totally accepted now is the best way. I've known it for years. It's just common sense, I think. But I understand why some parents are not kind. There's a definite psychological accepted theory that it takes generations to undo what has been done to a person in the early years by the parent. Yep. But let's be optimistic and think no matter what has happened in the past, if a parent stops and thinks and tries hard to be kind to the child instead of mean, the child will be a different person. Imagine the child who has been ordered around. Do it because I said so. I don't care what you think. I told you what to do. And if you don't do it, you're going to be punished. You're not going to the beach tomorrow. It's so harmful. It hurts me to say it. No. The parent asked for the child to be born. The child is ready to learn. The parent is the teacher. Right now that may shock people, and I don't think anybody will say it's incorrect. If a parent complains about a child, almost all the time, the parent is really complaining about the way the parent, or he, has treated that child. The parent's way of dealing with the child influences the child to be what the child will be. As a baby, as a toddler, as a teenager, as an old man. Being to make the child happy, appreciative of life. If everybody followed it, that won't happen. But the more people that realize that, the more peaceful this place will be. Bullies in first grade, fewer mass murderers, fewer people setting fire to buildings and police cars and churches, throwing bricks at each other, Molotov cocktails, shooting guns. There would be fewer, 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 fewer. Instead, it's so simple. Somebody who's happy with life, wants to be nice to other people. Those of you who are listening right now are thinking, gosh, I wouldn't set fire to a building. If somebody paid me a lot of money, I wouldn't do it. And perhaps some of you listening are enough disturbed inside, which happens. It happens in the formative years, and we can't blame parents. There's no point in blaming here. Let's just try to help make it better from now on. But those of you who are listening who don't quite get it, I think you would. I think you would get it. You don't. I understand though. It is a psychological theory. It's hard for people who have been ordered around, who've had dictator parents instead of kind parents. Generations to get over it. Orders from a parent leads generally to a child feeling insecure. There's no question about it. Of course somebody is insecure if that person as a little toddler hadn't ever been able to even choose what little sweater he's going to put on or what he's going to do for the next minute. If the parent tells that child every single thing and punishes the child doesn't obey, that child grows up only knowing how to live with orders. And naturally, when he becomes a young teenager or even before that, the parent will realize something, my child, and we've all heard people say this, my child doesn't have security. It's like the parent sometimes thinks, oh, that just happened. Some children just don't have security, okay? Okay, it happens the child next door does have security, but, well, yeah, that parent is nice to the child, is really kind, and, yeah, hugged that baby a lot when that baby was little, I know that. She'd carry that baby around and spend time with the baby, and she talks to that little toddler. I've never seen that parent spank that child or yell at that child. Maybe that does matter. Insecurity is just a natural outgrowth. It's going to come to a child who has been ordered around by the parent. And some parents don't know. They think they're doing the right thing by being stern. This is going to make the child strong. Yeah, he's going to know he has to obey orders. Oh, they can think on their own and also feel the pleasures of living life freely, making some decisions. An incredible sentence, one sentence I read about punishment. Bruno Bettelheim wrote a book, which I read after I had read written all three of my books, but I think I memorized the sentences I read it. Now, remembering this is about punishment in the parent-child relationship, punishment overall in society we need right now. Unfortunately, some people don't know the difference in right and wrong. And before I tell you that, one thing, some people say, oh, well, I was punished, I was spanked a lot, but I'm just fine. Anybody thinking that? When I first got into, I haven't even told you how I happened to write. I was asked to write the first book by a school where my children went. But what was I telling you? When I was just first hearing people say, well, I'm fine. I was not treated that way you're saying. I mean, my parents definitely punished me. I was told by more than one person what to say back. This was people who had been in the business of teaching parenting for a long time. Who's saying, I'm just fine, doesn't know what he might have been. People can think I'm just fine. I'm just fine. And none of us are perfect. Let me say that. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect in this world on earth. Um, but definitely some people are happy and some people are disturbed, degrees of disturbed. Some people are a little bit disturbed and don't even go to psychiatrists, but they're not particularly kind to other people. Some people do go to psychiatrists trying to find happiness, and some succeed. It's hard to change people later. As who was it? What's his name? Frederick Douglass said years ago. It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And by strong children, we mean kind children who can withstand what happens in life without being mean to other people. Life is not going to be perfection for anybody. There are different opinions, but some people lash out and some people don't lash out. Some people think, talk, but show self-restraint. All right, the sentence I want to tell you about punishment, the parent-child relationship, Bettelheim's words. Remembering that what we want people to be is feel that they're worthy, just like everybody else is worthy. That they're not, I'm not any good. My parent kept telling me she didn't like me, or she kept punishing me all the time. I'm not worthy. Here are his words. Punishment may make us, since I've memorized it, punishment may make us obey the orders that are given, but at best will only teach an obedience to authority, not a self-control which enhances our self-respect. Punishment is harmful. It's an incredible sentence. So, my first point being, remember the importance of the job of parenting. Being a full-time mother is a job that, as I say, when parents have said that to me now, I practically see the little angels floating around their heads. They know how important it is. And not that they can't go off and have another. They'd prefer to leave the house and get money or prestige. I don't know, get more prestige by having another job than by having a child who is wonderful and happy and kind to other people. Anyway, a parent who chooses to be with the child is doing an incredible thing to help everybody. But that and then that's the important thing to remember. The importance of the job of parent, to remember to set the goal of happiness for the child, true deep happiness, inner peace. And 3, realize that goal by being kind, loving all the time, not mean. A different place. Now, some people are thinking, as I'm closing this, what's Emily thinking? Some people have to work and leave their children. Work. Yeah, work. Have a job. Already had a job. Why have a child if the parent is not going to pay attention to the child? Why add a child to this world that's going to be possibly a harm? Why not add a child to this world that's going to be a help? It's up to the parent. We're living in a free world at this moment. Parents can choose whether or not to have a child. They can have birth control and not have a child. They can have a child and give it up for adoption if they don't want it. We'll need to think hard about blaming other things Right now, there are many groups working with disturbed children. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm getting to my point of why some people think they need to work for money. Go back to that. I'll end with that. But the group's now working with children who are disturbed. Now, some children, very few, but some are born with mental handicaps or physical handicaps. Sometimes people think they were born that way, but it's because of what the parent has done too, and that any psychiatrists and doctors will tell you that. But generally, the child comes into the world ready to be with the parent. Well, it's what the parent cares to teach. So, a parent choosing to work for money, I think, ought to think for sure about how many children, and I know many do, I mean, including me, we all thought, it takes a little bit of money, it definitely takes time, and it takes energy, and think about it before having children that will force the parent to leave the child. Why have a bunch of children and not be with them when you can have one child and be with that child? There's nothing wrong with having one child. Many people are fine people when they were only children. Now, I'll add something strange here. Some people won't agree, but I think a single parent can do it, can be kind and helpful. I think it is, as almost everybody else in the world seems to think, it's better to have a father and a mother. And I know it is better. There's no question. But, I mean, I shouldn't say there's no question. I think one parent can be very kind to the child and help the child learn to be kind and honest. About money, money does not bring happiness. To think that the parent needs to work so the child will be helped to have more money is so incorrect. I've talked to many people over all these years I've been doing parenting, and some very fine people grew up with practically no money. Some have told me no food, not even water to drink sometimes, but a very kind parent who explained it all and hugged the child and said how much she loved the child and explained, listened to the child. And also some people on the other side of it have grown up with tons of money and are disturbed children. Possibly because the parent wasn't aware that kindness is the way to treat the child, not being a dictator. I hope I've made this clear. There's so much to say, and yet there's a way to say it that's just so simple. That any question about parenting, anything that's come up, what to do, the answer's kindness. We don't want to be a hover parent, and it's called a helicopter parent. No, you don't have to do that, but you don't want to be a neglectful parent either. But just be kind always. Talk to the child as if the child is an adult, not boo goo. That's ridiculous. Children come into the world amazingly ready to learn. I could give you some explicit examples that have been astounding personally. That my little baby overheard the words when he was in diapers, tiny. I mean, not just in diapers, but a real little baby. Have fun, enjoy the child, be kind. Remember the importance of the job, the goal of having the child be appreciative of all of life, and do it by working with the child, not against the child. Bye. Another time, maybe. Bye.